Hey there, I'm Jenny,
And I'm Monica,
and this is Hitting Her Mark.
podcast for women in the arts, actors, filmmakers, artists who are passionately chasing their creative dreams.
While juggling the beautiful chaos of caring for the ones you love.
We're here to share stories, insights, and inspiration, proving that you can hit your mark without compromising what matters most.
So if you're ready to make your creative dreams a reality, let's dive in. Melanie is a voice actor, writer, and VO talent agent with PN Agency. Her passion and specialty is voice acting, and she enjoys coaching VO students and producing VO demos. In her free time, Melanie loves to create stories and watch animated movies and cartoons with her son. Animation is Melanie's favorite part of the VO industry. Melanie's voice can be heard on several animated shows, including Thomas and Friends, Barbie, Polly Pocket, Barney, and many others. She is also the voice of the Cartoon Network Canada. So welcome to Hitting Her Mark. This is our podcast about women in a creative industry. And Melanie, you have been in this industry for quite a while, and you have a wealth of experience. And we'd love to hear a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you get into voice acting? Was this what you wanted to do, and then it just kept going? Or was there some like twists and turns along the way?
Yeah. So of course, like everyone wants to be a cartoon voice, right? I think because we wake up Saturday morning, we eat sugar cereal, and we watch cartoons. That's what I did in the 80s, right? So yeah, I just always wanted to do that, but I never knew how. So I just went along in life and, went into a career in office work and all that kind of stuff, right? Nothing creative. But I always wanted to do the creative thing. And then I actually had my son, and, when I had my son, I was like, "Wow, I need to be an example for him, right? I need to show him that he can do whatever he really wants to do." So, I had an amazing job in the corporate world, and, so I just started it as a hobby, right? Started taking classes, started figuring it out, got a demo produced, and then started to, like, look for an agent and, like, how do you even get an agent? And, so eventually I booked a series, Cutie Pugs, with you, Ginny. Yeah. So I booked this series on my own without having an agent. And then, of course, when you have a series, you bring it to an agent, and the agent's like, "Of course, right?"
Yeah.
And then so it just progressed from there. Once I started to get auditions, and mostly what I do is cartoon work. It's what I love. So yeah, that's how it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how having your son was actually the inspiration, because so often having the child is what holds a lot of us back and sort of locks us in like, I've got a kid now. I can't be, irresponsible. I've got this great job. I'm stuck. But you took it instead as inspiration. And I love that, because I think it's so true. It's so true. You look around and you're like, I keep telling my kid they can be anything they want to be. And then yet I'm stuck.
Hmm. Yeah, and that was exactly it. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't look at my son and say, hey, you can be what you want to be, and I'm not doing it. So I just made it work, right? And it was a hobby at first, of course. Like, you start off slow. But my goal was to be in the industry full time if I could be. And to be a full time actor is, wow, not easy. You have to book all the time. You have to book all the time. So I recognized that that might not work out. And so what I did is, I sort of pivoted into the role of coach and like teacher, and then started producing demos. And I launched my business doing that, so that I was slowly trying to figure out how could I make a living in the industry. And then a door opened for me to start being, an agent. So then I became a talent agent for voiceover. And so now, like, I am full time in my industry, and it's like I love it. I wake up every day to work in my kitchen, and I love my life.
Yes, that's amazing.
What is it that you really love about doing voiceover work? And um, I'm just curious, what would you say is the key to sort of success and longevity in this career?
Mhm. Okay, so I love character work, right? I love the fun. I love getting in a booth with other people, especially when you can record with other people. It's so fun. And then I think like, woo, Just the longevity to make it a career. It's not easy to make acting a career because you do need to be booking consistently or you need to be on a series that's recurring so you have income, right? So I mean, I think starting with the love and the passion is where you have to begin. I think if you're starting for the money, then you're starting in the wrong right? You got to start.
Not the place for you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you really got to start for the passion and then sort of go from there.
What do you find as being an agent? What do you look for in voiceover talent? Like, what draws you to picking the right people that you want to represent?
That's a great question. So, we already have a really established roster, right? So, when we get submissions from people, a lot of times it's like we don't really need to add people to the roster. So, the things that stand out for us are, first of all, we need a demo. We need to hear how you sound. You can't just send an email and say, hey, I'm looking for representation. That doesn't work, right? Because we're voiceover. So we need a demo, and on that demo, we really want to hear like, are you taking a commercial and making it yours, or are you taking a commercial and making it the commercial? And those are different things. So we want to be able to hear what kind of unique thing are you bringing to it. How are you making that commercial sound, or like a character, right? Are you making a silly voice because we can all make silly voices, or are you committing to like the nuances of the character and are you really making it yours, right? And so we're looking for those types of things, something that stands out and that's unique to you.
Okay, so I had a question because a lot of actors, right? I think a lot of us feel like it's either you're an actor or you're an agent, and you are magically both. How did that transition? How did that happen?
Yeah, okay, so I was an actor. And then my agent that I work for, or like, that represents me, one of the agents in the business sort of she left and continued on her journey, right? So I reached out to my agent and I was like, hey, I don't really know if I could do both things, but I've been in the corporate world for many years. I'm very organized. Like this is, what I do. I manage people's lives for a living. I wonder if I could maybe, work on the other side as well. And he was like, "No."
Oh,
Yeah. He's like, "Nah, I don't need help. I'm good." So I was like, "Oh,
Like,
okay, cool."
okay, great. Good
Yeah.
talk.
Awkward, but okay. Um, and then, he knew what I did in the corporate world and everything. And so a few months later, he was like, "Yeah, actually, I do need help." Um, and so let's sort of sit down and chat about it and see if maybe we can make it work, what this would look like, right? Do I need to get a different agent? Can he represent me? And can I represent other people? And how can this work, right? Because it can really get
Mhm.
conflict of interest if you're not careful. So, yeah, we figured it out. And now I have a wonderful roster of people that I get to represent. We have a roster here in Toronto. That's the one that I work on. And then we have one in Montreal and New York as well. And then we have a roster that is called Ethnic Voice Talent as well. And so this is representing people that have accents or speak in different languages. And there's a whole world of voiceover work for them too. So I sort of get to do both of those things.
love that there's a special division. Because it is in demand. And then I guess they would do translations and the dubbing world, right?
That's huge. Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you found about being an agent? And on the flip side, what's the part about it that you love the most?
Okay, the challenge. It's so simple, but I talent on the roster, some are organized and some are not. And so the challenge is help me help you, right? Help me help you. All I'm trying to do is just get you work over here. So just help me do that. So helping people stay organized, I would say that is a challenge. Adults too, like not kids, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I believe it. Yes. How do you what would help you if I was one of your clients, what would be the ideal thing? How can I help you?
So okay, let's say we're working on a booking, right? Okay, Ginny, you're on hold. We got something good coming along, right? I'm obviously going to need to be in communication with you over the next little while, right? So just respond to my emails.
Bare minimum.
It's real.
Basic.
So just, I'm going to be in contact with you, Ginny, because you're on hold for this, right? So
Mhm.
like just within a reasonable amount of time, you can, if I send you an email today, I need you to respond today in the next couple hours if you can.
Which
Otherwise,
is so funny to me because like my agent's email is like important. It's like flat. It's like because even if I'm on do not disturb, the agent email comes through, right? And she's like, if I don't answer my email within like half an hour, I'm getting a text, I'm getting WhatsApp. It's like it's immediate.
Does your agent do you have a special ringtone for your agent's phone call?
Ash-
It's my agent. It's my agent. Hello? Hello? Hello?
It's her voice, like Jenny. It is important.
so, and you would think that these things would be prioritized, but sometimes they're just not. And then I'll get a response like 24 hours later, like, hey, sorry, I missed your email. I'm like, what are we doing? What are you even doing? So
Right.
I would say, like, that is a challenge, and
Oh,
it's something so simple, right?
Yeah.
that's so foreign to me because and I guess maybe do you find this with people that are maybe like starting it like sort of like treating it more like a hobby and they're like,
Yeah, I would say that. Like, we have people that do this full time, right? And they're on their emails for sure. And then there's people that aren't, and that's just what it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's
Um,
for sure.
and you have this beautiful talent for coaching and recording and all of this stuff. So do you vet your clients like audition tapes before they send it in?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I listen to every single audition from every single talent always. I want to make sure that like we've pronounced the brand correctly. For example, the perfect example is like BMO, right? A lot of people will say BMO, for example.
Okay.
So just simple things like, did we pronounce the brand correctly? Do we generally have the tone of what we're looking for? And I try to do that within a time frame to like send some feedback if we need to. Hey, can you re-record this? Hey, can you make this change? And most of the time I never need to send those emails. I'm just doing a double check. But sometimes I have to send the email, right? And then I want to be able to give the talent enough time to get it in because I'm sending it to them because I think they can book it. So, like, I wanna get their audition in.
Right.
I love that, Melanie. And I just I think it's so, especially for people who are new to VO or just breaking in. I think it's so great when an agent provides feedback and helps, especially, um, yeah, to help them progress their VO career. I think that's wonderful that you listen to the tapes and provide feedback. Um, in terms of the demo reels, because I know you do a lot of coaching on the demo reels, what can you tell us if any advice for an actor who's putting together a demo reel, what needs to be in there? What makes a good demo reel stand out?
Yeah, okay, this is a great question. So, first and foremost, like, the bread and butter of the VO industry is commercial, right? So, you wanna have a commercial demo reel if you're really trying to break into this, that's the first thing. We don't want this demo reel to be so long. We want it to be about a minute and 20 seconds. Like, usually I know within the first spot whether this is gonna work or whether it's not, you know? Like, I could tell right by the slate, the slate start off with the slate and it has to have energy. There's got to be like, let me believe that you love this. So
Okay.
yeah, your slate should let me believe that you love this. And then the first spot should be a really strong spot. And it can be very commercial esque. That's okay, but it has to be you in the commercial, not just you mimicking the sound that you think the commercial wants, right? So that's a big important piece. And then we want to look for some range too, right? Like, what kind of energies do we have? Do we have something serious? Do we have something high energy? Do we have a higher tone? Do we have a lower tone? Is there range? Some people don't have range, they have one sound. And that's totally okay. We don't need you to have range as long as you can bring me different emotions within your sound, then
Okay.
I'm good, right? It doesn't have to be all over the place. Some people have a ton of range, right? So then they can really work it. But even if you don't, even if you just sort of have like one note, that's great. And there's a place for your voice for sure. So I just need to know that you can emote different emotions then, right? Give me different spots that are going to convey something more.
Amazing. And then I have one other like follow-up question to that is music in the demo reel versus no music. Like I know that I've heard debates on that, whether you just want to hear the person's voice or do the music kind of creates something as well, I guess. But um, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's like two schools of thoughts on this. Like some casting directors do not want any music. They just want the voice. Some agents just want the voice. For me, I'd rather have something produced. I'd rather have it sound like you did this commercial. Um, so that I can know, did you do the commercial? I can tell, right? Did you do this commercial or did somebody produce this on a demo for you? A lot of times you can tell the difference, right? So yeah, I do like to have something that's produced, but I'm more than open to hearing somebody send me a demo that's just their voice. That's totally fine. I would never turn someone away if that's what they were submitting. I'll absolutely listen through. The thing is, when you submit like that, there's no music to bring up your energy, for example, or to set a tone, right? So it's like if it's not great, then it's not great.
That's it. That's it.
There's no dating.
Yeah, there's no hiding. You can hide behind some like dance beats, right?
So actually, I have another question about sort of the daily practice of a voiceover actor, right? Because I find that that's being an actor. I think, everybody understands if you're a basketball player, every day you're going to be working out, you're going to be shooting hoops. A dancer is going to dance every day. For actors, I know for a lot of us, we're like, well, what do we do? Act every day? What does a voice actor do?
Yeah. So with voiceover, a lot of voice actors they have an agent, like me, for example, and then they find their own work, right? So and they'll audition for other things outside of what they're auditioning for through their agent. So a lot of them have their own clients, or a lot of them might be auditioning online throughout the day just from their home studio. So if you have a home studio, this sort of opens up that whole world to find additional work. If you don't, then you're just submitting for whatever your agent sends you, right? Because you can't really record from home because you don't have the quality set up. So I think there's like those two types of voice actors. And otherwise, a lot of them have a second job if they're doing this as a hobby. And then if they're doing this full time, then, they're just all over their auditions. And usually those people have a home studio.
Okay. And then do you do vocal warm-ups every day, or
Yes.
what kind of exercises do you do? Like, do you have a set? So is it like 8 a.m.?
Oh,
The house is just,
I got a whole I got a whole thing. Okay. So my kid goes off to school. Yeah, my kid goes off to school, and the very first thing that I am doing is having my coffee because I
I
can't.
love it already.
Yeah, I cannot live without my coffee. That is the straight up truth. Now, caffeine can restrict the vocal flaps and it can impact like your voice as an actor. So I'm conscious not to drink a coffee too close to a session, but I need the
yeah, you need what you need.
I'm not even human until I have a coffee yet. So
So what I like to do is I actually stretch my jaw every day, and this is like twofold. So one of the things is just stretching the jaw, being able to get the mouth around the words, right, when you're reading. And I do a lot of animation, so my characters are forever fast speaking. So, I'm forever giving a list of a million different things, and it's like it has to be quick and it has to be clear. So I stretch my jaw. I use like maybe a cork or a marker or something that I can literally direct. Uh-huh.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is a chip clip. I'm trying not to eat chips, guys. So I got the clips, but you know, Mama, I'm on my healthy 2025 over here. So like, oh, something like this and do this, and then I will speak as clearly as I can while this is in my mouth. So what this is doing is stretching the jaw, and it is allowing for just more motion, more sound to come out. And I'll do that for 30 seconds and then, 45 seconds and a minute. And I can do it for about 2 minutes now. And then it hurts after that, right? And when you're first getting started, it hurts at 30 seconds. So I do that. And I also do this right before going into a session or even in a session. Sometimes if a character's speaking really fast and it's a long paragraph and I just can't get it all in one breath or whatever it is, I'll actually use a cork for and read the whole thing with the cork in my mouth, then take the cork out and do it without. And the engineer is more than open to that. The casting director is more than open to that, to letting me do that in the moment to make sure that I can, get what the character needs to deliver. So, yeah, that's one of the main things that I do, and I do it every morning and every night.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of that. And I love that tip.
I've had an acting coach suggest that to me. I've done that before with the cork, and it was when I was doing a British accent. So I don't know. Maybe it just I needed to find more space in the mouth, and like so. That's so cool. I love that. But I've never thought about doing that before a voice session. So I love that.
Yeah.
What is the coolest, like you've done so many amazing voices for your animation projects. Is there one that really sticks out to you that you've really enjoyed or that has challenged you in a different way that you've had to create this like very fun voice?
Well, they're all so fun. I always book the fun character. I'm blessed in that regard that I just book the fun character. So my characters are always so fun. But what stands out for me is like this singing. So I'm forever singing in character. I'm forever singing. I'm not even a singer. I'm not even good at it. I'm not. But
That's amazing. Because I listened to your animation demo and you were singing beautifully.
it's so that's really fun for me, because, like, what little girl doesn't wanna, like, sing like a little princess, right? So it's like I'm living my childhood dream over here singing for all these characters, and, I really enjoy the challenge of singing in the character voice, right? Because like, maintaining the voice while singing is totally different than maintaining it while talking. So it's a challenge, but in a fun way, and I love it, and I'm by no means a singer. Like, sometimes we're going line for line. Or, you know, there's an engineer that I work with oftentimes when I'm singing, and, she knows the routine. She knows. So then it's okay. She knows the song and the difficulty level, and she's gonna be like, "We're gonna take this one line by line." Because I'm not a professional singer, but it's so fun and I love it.
That's amazing. Another question I have about just the industry in general is for some of us, we are actors first, and so we're already unionized. But some of us, I have a lot of friends who aren't union that are really, trying to get into the union world. For you and for your clients, what's your advice on that?
Yeah. Okay. So we are a non-union agency, and I'm a non-union actor as well. So getting into the union from a non-union standpoint, there's so many people that want to do that, right? And it's not easy to do. Because you need to get union credits in order to get in. Well, how do you get that when you're not a union actor, right? So that's a whole process. And the big animation projects are generally union. So, there's a lot of people that are trying to get in. That takes time. It really takes time. And you have to have an agent that's willing to submit you for union projects. Otherwise, how will you ever get in front of the right people? How will you ever do it? And not all non-union agencies will do that, right? And then not all projects will even accept auditions from non-union performers. Some projects will. So you've got to have an agent that's searching for those things, looking for those things, and trying to help you make that leap.
But you, as a non-union actor, you're thriving. Like
Right.
you've made a whole career out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I do get to audition every so often for something union, because I would love to, have an opportunity to do that, and get into some of the big animation projects. But I'm just, that's not where I'm at just yet. right now I just do the non-union animation stuff.
Melanie, you talked about like how you get to audition for a lot of these projects. How do you approach your auditions? Because a lot of times you'll get a breakdown, especially for animation, and there's no set blueprint on what the character needs to be. Maybe they give you some hints, but you really sometimes get to create a character from scratch, which is what I love about VO as well. So, how do you approach your auditions?
Yeah, so I just go, like, massively huge, like, as big as I can possibly go. I would rather go huge and for them to be like, "Whoa, bring it back," than for them to hear something that's lackluster, right? Because then it's like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? So, yeah, I go really large on all of my auditions. No matter what the character is, I'm going as large as I can possibly go with it.
And how many takes do you usually send in?
I'll usually send in 2. And usually I don't do more than, like, 3 takes on my own when I'm actually doing the audition at home. So I'll do my first take just to, like, read it so I understand what's going on and I'm feeling it out. Then I'll do my second take, which is, like, the one, and then I'll do my third one, which is my alt. And then, I'll pick from there, and a lot of times the very first one is good because it's authentic and natural and, so, yeah, I usually don't do too many. Otherwise, you lose the good energy.
It gets kind of stale, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask about this specifically because it's come up for me even as I'm auditioning as well for VO stuff. But there's so many subsections in voiceover. So there's animation, there's video games, there's audiobooks, commercials. Sometimes you get that, even in commercials like announcer type versus whatever. What are some of the key tips and differences when approaching these different subsections?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when people start out, they wanna do everything, right? But it's like you're not good at everything. You're just not. Right? You're not good at everything. So, like, I try to encourage people, like, find your lane. What is the thing that you're really good at? And then start there and start pursuing that. And that's going to come naturally. So you're going to be able to build confidence. You're going to be able to build like habits and patterns. You're going to potentially see some bookings. So you're going to start to build a resume for yourself. And then once you've figured that out, the thing you were naturally good at, then you can start to like sort of branch into some of the other pieces of voiceover because there's an audiobook and an animation are completely different things. An audiobook and an e-learning are different things too. You think, oh, those are the same thing, but they're really not. So just kind of like
Yeah.
making the leap into what you're good at to start and then progressing from there. And coaching, right? You got to get some coaching, get some feedback along the way, get feedback from several different coaches. It's so valuable to take something from one person and something from another person and create, the thing that works for you.
Hmm. Did you have any mentors along the way that sort of helped you develop your career and
Yeah. I had like I took all the classes with all the people. Every single class I could possibly take for voiceover, I took it. I had like voice coaches, I had mentors. I tried to find female voice coaches as well as male voice coaches because they have different ranges and different things that they could do and different ways that they can move their voice. So I had a lot of that. I mean, for years, probably for the first 3 years, all I did was be in every single coaching I could possibly be in all the time and to figure out what works well for me.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's such dedication and yeah, that's how you're gonna figure out what you're good at, right? That's so important to figure out, your lane. It's the same thing with acting. It's like figuring out your brand right away so that you can start leaning in and start getting those bookings. And then that's when you get that satisfaction and some of the money,
Mhm.
and then you reinvest and then you keep growing and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that when you're getting um submissions or people that want to be your client, is that the first thing that you ask them to do?
I mean, it's one of the things for sure. Like, usually when people submit, they tell me who they've had training with. the type of training that they've had. And you can usually hear it in their demo. Like I know all the voice coaches. I know them all. So I can hear a demo and I know who produced it. I'll be like, oh yeah, I know where this all, or oh, I know who this person trained with. And that's amazing, right? Because then they're doing something right. They're taking the feedback and they're putting it into practice. So yeah, but a lot of people come to us just like, I want to be a voice actor, right? And they submit something they recorded in their basement, and I gotta give them the hard truth. I got to. I gotta I gotta exercise the
Yeah.
tough over here. You
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Mhm.
I found that after, like, for me especially, I don't know, Jenny, for you too, but after COVID, I feel like there was, or during COVID, there was a big shift into, I think a lot of actors started to say, okay, what are we doing? I think there was a big push to sort of get into voice work because it was suddenly an avenue where people could, you could be doing this from your home. You could be auditioning from home. So I know for myself, I immediately pivoted and was like, okay, I got to get into class, start figuring. And then I discovered this world of voice that I was like, this is awesome. There's something about voice work. It's like there's a freedom there that you don't get sometimes on the on camera side where you can make crazy faces. You're just like, it's all about the voice. And there's a freedom in that. Do you find that as well? And did you find during COVID or if the industry sort of changed a little bit in terms of the volume of people coming in and
Yes.
yeah.
I do find that. I love the freedom that voice gives me, right? Like, I mean, if you filmed me while I'm recording one of my characters, I look insane. I do.
Yeah.
I looked insane, and, I love that. I love that you can just be. It's so freeing. And yeah, we definitely saw a massive surge during COVID, and even still now, there's tons and tons and tons of people looking to get into voiceover. A lot of actors that would have started on camera that are now sort of like, "Hey, I wanna dabble into this too." And a lot of times the actors are great because they're already trained. They already know what they're doing. So transitioning into VO is fairly simple for them. But not always. Not always, because it's a different beast. So, there's still some coaching to be done. But yeah, the industry is saturated for sure.
Yeah, which I think makes it like I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out that side of things. I find it harder to break through in VO, to be honest, than on the on-camera side. So yeah, I was curious about your thoughts on that, and on what do you think is the thing that some people are more successful than others? I know you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but is there anything on the business side of things that people can be doing to progress themselves?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, if I, from my agency, am submitting 10 people for a commercial, let's say, I have 10 awesome
Mhm.
people, I'm going to submit 10 auditions. All 10 of these auditions are going to be excellent, right? No one's going to be, this is not going to be bad. All 10 are going to be excellent because I'm going to make sure of it because I'm listening through. I'm going to give feedback and they're going to come back and they're going to deliver an excellent audition. Well, maybe this audition went out to 10 agencies. And if all 10 agencies are submitting 10 people, that's 100 people. And 100 auditions maybe are not going to be excellent, but probably 70 of them are. So then where are we going? What are we doing? How as an actor do I book that then? It really will come down to your choices and like saying something or doing something in a way that somebody else didn't. It might just come down to tone of voice, right? That your tone is the tone that they're looking for. Um it's really like it can be such a huge pool of people and voices that sometimes the booking, there's nothing the actor can do. It's like you delivered an excellent audition and that's all you can do. There's a lot of times where that's not the case and there's things you can do personally. But a lot of times the actors are asking me, what can I do differently? And I'm like, honestly, your audition's excellent. But there's 20 other excellent auditions too.
Yeah. And for like the acting side, we're always told, you know what? Even if you don't book this one, it means the casting director is going to remember you, and there's a chance that you're going to book something else, and you're going to get on their special lists and stuff. Is it the same for voice acting?
Yeah, definitely. I would say we work with like a few casting directors, like they get to know your voice, right? And they get to know people and they'll start to ask for people to audition specifically. So that's always great. But they know who I'm going to submit, right? The casting directors I work with, when they send a breakdown, they know who's going to submit for this. They know the voices that are coming in and they like them. They're used to hearing these voices. So yes, I definitely think one job can lead to another, can lead to another.
And one thing that people might not realize, which was new to me, was that the submission process is a little different on the VO side than the acting side. It's really the agent who decides who gets submitted for the job, right? It's not like in the acting side where a breakdown is sent out, the agent submits their actors, and then the casting director decides who they're going to see. It's actually the agent who decides who the casting director is going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So have a good relationship with your agent and do good work.
yeah, so the breakdown comes to me and I decide who I send it to. So then
Yeah.
I send it out, they audition, and I send those auditions in. So yeah, it's exactly right. It's like they don't get to pre-hear your voice and then say, I want to hear an audition from this person. But they get so used to hearing your voices come through, right? We're submitting auditions every single day. So then a lot of times specific requests will come through for people.
And has there ever been a time where you're just like, you know what? I can't put this through.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, a lot. Um, so sometimes people I don't know what happens. Sometimes I don't know what happens. Like,
Right, because it's your reputation as well, right? It's your judgment. So if you're getting something lackluster back and you give them the opportunity to change it and nothing is changing, you know,
yeah, I don't sort
you're
of
going to submit your best case, right?
yeah, I tell people too. I let them know. Yeah, if you're not getting submitted, you're knowing it. I'll tell you. Hey,
Okay.
you didn't hit the mark on this, Jenny. This is not what they're looking for. Maybe you didn't read the breakdown or maybe you're just not comprehending it. But like this is not what they're asking for. But I'll send the feedback first, right? For them to like, can they make the change? And then if I get it back and I'm like, nah, we still didn't hit this, I'll let them know. And most of the time, the actor's like, yeah, I agree. This one wasn't for me.
Mm.
Right? Most of the time, the actor knows if it's very rare for them to be like, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
This isn't excellent. Right? But I mean, it does happen sometimes.
Right. This is my best work.
No, in a climate where we get so little feedback, I think it's great to get feedback, whatever that is, because then you have the opportunity to make a change or, you have another shot at it. Okay. I am so curious if there's something about this industry that you could change. Like, is there anything that frustrates you about, and it could be on the acting side, the agent side, whatever, avenue you want to discuss, but what, if there's anything that frustrates you about this industry and what would you change if you could?
Ooh, that's a great one. Okay, I'll get so real with it. Um,
Yeah.
I think actors are not paid as well as they should be paid. And it irritates me. It irritates me when I see a breakdown come through and I'm like, stop it. Stop it with this rate. This is not even reasonable. And yet, they're submitting it. And so, I go back as an agent to negotiate, hey, like we need to, no, this isn't going to work. And a lot of times they're like, no, this is our budget. This is what we're doing. And they won't even work with me. They won't even say like, "Oh, maybe we could," or "Let's look at this." It's like it's just no. And I feel it's so disrespectful to the actors. And I'm like, and there are auditions where we pass where I say, "No, I'm not submitting my people. I have excellent talent here and they need to be paid properly." And, so yeah, we have auditions where we just don't submit.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I'm sure there's a lot of actors. This saying I heard a while back, and it's so true. And it's like actors need agents because we'll do it for free.
Yeah.
And and it's so great to have an agent that cares enough because especially when you're first starting out, like you really are just so excited. I coach a lot of people just like you do. And, sometimes I'll talk about rates and how much people get on the breakdown and stuff. And inevitably in every class, somebody raises their hand and says, why do they pay so much? And I'm like, no, 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 this is normal. This is normal. And sometimes that's not even like enough.
Agreed. There's too much, I think, in the industry where too many opportunities that are not where actors are not just being paid properly. And I think that needs
Yeah, and thinking about how opportunities are so far and few in between, like actors it needs to cover that time sometimes too, right? It's like you're not, and that needs to be taken into account somehow, or else like it's just not a sustainable career. It makes it impossible for us to like survive.
you to be here and there when they want you to be here and there and, come to this place and do this and do that at their, on their schedule. So as an actor, how do you have that other job? How do you do all the other things? You got to always be available, right? You always have to be available, but then, well, I don't get paid enough to always be available. Right?
Right.
Not because I don't love it, but because this is reality. So yeah, it irritates me to the fullest degree.
And sometimes the equipment that you have to invest in, right? Like if there's even if you do get to do it at home, like they've got to be like, you've got to have your Source Connect. It's got to have premium internet. You've got to have this microphone and we've got to approve of it. Right. So you've got to log on, a day prior for us to make sure it's good enough before. Right. So yeah, that's a lot of expectation.
Yeah, it is.
This this is reminding me of doing I booked one of my first VO jobs during COVID, and I did not have a home studio, but we were taping at home, and I remember I had to be connected to my modem. I had to be like I was in my kitchen. It was just like that's where my modem was, and I remember, like, building, like, a fortress around me to get that sound, like, it was ridiculous, and then I remember they sent me a mic, like, it was a whole thing, and then when we started taping, they're like, "I can hear something," and it was my fridge, and I had to go and unplug my fridge.
Oh, Michael.
It was like I'm like, "This is great," like, this is but that's what it takes to get the good sound. We ended up in the studio after all that, but, um I think any person who's started out voice and doesn't have a home studio has done the in the closet
Mm.
duvet
A blanket.
sweating.
Yeah, there.
You're like panting.
I'm like,
You're like, oh.
it's really warm under this duvet.
Yep.
Making barking sounds for, for, for video
A
games.
machine gun, like, uh, oh my goodness. Oh, and that's like, how do you keep your voice healthy when you're
That's a
made
good
for these
question.
like noise
Yeah,
sometimes, right?
yeah, I have
Any tips for that?
I do. Okay, so I like to, well, first of all, water, 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 water. Hydration is like the big, massive piece of the puzzle. So yeah, I drink tons of water all the time. And then like just avoiding certain things, like avoiding fried foods ahead of time.
Uh,
Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but fried food, avoid.
Did not know that.
Yeah, avoiding, caffeine right before, that helps. I like to have, like, a gin. I know, me too.
Monica's very upset about that.
Me too. I do ginger chews. I have these, like, little ginger chews that
Okay, yeah.
they're good, like, they kinda coat the throat just a little bit, and ginger, like, gives me a zing, like, it's like, "Woo, that's gingery." You know?
Wait, what's the commercial right there?
I know. That's gingery. I love it.
So there's that. I carry a green apple with me when I go to my sessions because it helps break up the spit in the mouth so you don't have like that dry mouth sound, all the clicks, all the pops, all that growth.
Yes.
So there's like, yeah, there's acidity in the green apple that will help with that. So
And specifically the green apple.
yeah,
That's the most sour.
that's the one.
What?
Mm-hmm.
The one.
Lee Smith, she knew what she was doing. You steam to clear out the nasal passage, right? Yeah, that's big. And then another thing that I do right before my sessions, and I check with people that are going to be in the booth with me just to make sure everyone's okay with it. But I put peppermint and lemon essential oil just on my hand here, rub it together, bring it in. So basically, the peppermint will instantly clear the sinus passage. It instantly clears the whole situation. So it's like nice and clear. But people can smell that, like peppermint essential oil, right? So I just make sure that everyone's okay with it because they will be able to smell it. But yeah, peppermint and lemon, and boom, right away.
This is gold. This is gold, Melanie.
I know. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, you got to get it.
Granny Smith apple. That because that I find that I'm chugging the water and I'm like, what is this? What is happening?
Granny Smith.
But the clicks, I never even thought about how that even would fix the clicking sound because I sometimes notice that in my tapes and I'm like, what? I don't know how to fix that. But that's really interesting. Okay, I'm going to shift a little bit. I'm going to shift into family life and juggling an artistic career because that's a lot about what this podcast is about. How do you, Melanie, manage to pursue this artistic life while juggling all the responsibilities of parenting? I know you have a son, I believe. How do you manage to juggle all of that?
Okay, so I only had one child. And I planned it that way because I knew that my capacity was limited, right? And I wanted to have my baby so badly, and I got my boy and I love him, and I want to be able to give him as much time as I can. So like I made the conscious decision to be like, I can only have one child here. Otherwise my capacity's not, I can't, right? So there's that. I only have one, and
There's that organizational mind.
sure, just like plan it out. And then I'm married and I have a wonderful partner and husband who is so supportive. So he helps a lot. Like I don't know how single moms do this. I don't know. I don't know how they make it through a
So
day.
hard.
I don't know how they make it through a day because so I have that support, which is wonderful. And then I really plan my time. I really plan it. Like I know my son's gonna come home at a certain time, and this is the amount of time I want to be able to spend with him, right? But then like I need to cook, I need to make food, I need to do the chores, but I want to have the time I spend with him not be chore time, right? That's not spending time. So, like, I try to plan the day out so that I can get those things done and we can still have like actual time spent. That's not easy to do. It's not. And on any given day, that does not happen. So I'll try to like roll him into the chores, but in a fun way. Be like, you know, oh, let's make a let's make a pizza, and he can put the pepperonis on, and so we're like spending time, but we're also getting dinner done. Right, or whatever it is, let's clean the fridge. Let's clean.
You're not gonna sell me on that one. You're making that fun.
So like I'll hide little chocolate eggs in the fridge. So
Oh my
I have
goodness.
some Easter chocolate eggs left over, right? And I'll just hide them in the fridge, and I'll be like, let's clean the fridge, and any treats you find, you could eat them. So then it's like,
That is, yeah, we doubted her. We doubted her. Stuck off and she was learned.
There's no way you're gonna make cleaning the fridge fun. And she just did.
yeah.
I mean,
So then he will find an egg and he'll be, oh my, what? Right? And so then now we're cleaning the fridge so that I'm getting the chore done because it has to get done. But I get to kind of spend some time and we get to have some fun and he gets to eat some chocolate. And so I try to like, if I can't set aside time that's just for him, then I try to incorporate it into the things that just have to get done by like, chocolate eggs work wonders.
Yes. You know what I love about that is that, he's a boy and you're really breaking that tradition of, men being able to just sit around and wait for dinner to come to the table, right? And, and it doesn't have to be every single day, but it's just now he knows what it's like. Like eventually he's going to figure out that the chocolate eggs were to, help with the chores and to make and it maybe making pizza becomes his like big specialty one day. And that's what he knows how to make. But these are things that these are skills that you're teaching him that, even just a generation ago, these boys were just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why don't you just fold it out?
But even just like chores in general, like, and I have two girls, but I found like there was the other day, and my daughter quickly corrected herself, but she said to me, she's like, I did you a favor and I did the dishes, and I was like, and I went, you did not do me a favor. You did your responsibility, which is contributing to this household, right?
Right.
And she was like, yes, I know, mom. I didn't mean it like that. And I was like, I know, but like this is part of the narrative, right? Of like reminding them that like, you don't do me a favor by doing a chore. Like you are part of this household and you contribute to this household. So we all have to pitch in and to make this work, right? Like when you have days where you have lots of homework, I say, go do your homework and I'll take care of this. And there's days where I'm going to have work and I need you guys to step in and help me out because I have a deadline that I need to reach or whatever. But this is the challenge, I guess, of, but we're teaching them something, I think, I hope.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
When my son wants something, like he wants, whatever he wants to buy or whatever, he doesn't have any money, of course. So I just tell him, you can work for it. I need to get the screen door needs to get dealt with. We need the windows washed. The vacuuming has to get done. And my kid will get that vacuum out and he will vacuum.
Yeah.
Be like, but I don't want to clean the toilets. And I'm like, that's fine. You can do all the other chores and I'll do the toilets. So he'll do all of it if he wants something, right? Motivation for money. So then I have to also teach him like, well, we need to do these things anyways, right? Because when you have your own home, you don't get paid to clean it.
Yeah.
You have to clean. So like I use it for, the allowance thing, but then also we try to like make sure every week these are the tasks that have to get done irrelevant. And he's getting pretty good at it.
Amazing.
Yeah. These are just life lessons that you have to like roll up. And I used to, because, growing up, I never had an allowance. I just did chores. That was just like part of living. Um, but when we had kids, my husband actually started doing these things where it's like, yeah, and my son was motivated to clean the toilet. We paid him $3. And he was like, he was into it. And at first I was like, I don't know, should we pay? Should we not pay? But I also find that it's important because I feel like the reason why women work, right? Like the women's work, cleaning the house and stuff is so undervalued because we were never paid for it. Whereas now, on the flip side, if now we're like monetizing, well, cleaning a toilet it's $3. So if you don't want to clean it, you're gonna have to pay someone else $3 to do it. Right. And it's just teaching them that, there is value to all of these jobs that normally have gone unpaid. Because you can pay somebody to come into your home and clean, and it costs quite a bit. It is not inexpensive to do that. So it's just like another life lesson rolled up.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're reaching our time here. We like to ask every guest, Melanie, before we sign off, a question. Given all the roles you take on, mother, partner, actor, agent, coach, the list goes on, I'm sure. When you hear hitting her mark, what does that mean to you? And how do you define success in your life? And this can be personally or professionally.
I think hitting her mark, like for me, when I hear that, it's just going for the dream, right? Whatever that is for you, whatever your mark is, everyone's going to have a different one. And I don't think, I think just going for it, not even getting there. I think the journey is what is fun. You can't hit your mark without the journey. So I think like going for the dream, whatever that is, just take that first step and go for it. I think that's sort of what it means to me.
Oh, I love
I
that.
love that.
So where can we find you? Um, I know your agency. If you want to talk about where we can find you for your agent stuff. Um, and for your production company to produce demos and stuff like that? And any other handles or anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I do produce demos, and I do those on like a referral basis. So I took my website down because it was becoming like a lot, right? How can we balance all of it? We can't. So I do the demos on referral basis now, and so I have an email. It's called hiddencastleproduction@gmail.com. So you can reach out to me there, and then I connect with people via Zoom usually to do like just see where people are at, and then we go from there. And we produce awesome demos, and it's so fun. But it's recording in my basement, right? So like like so we have a home studio in the basement, and we record in the basement, and we prep on Zoom and that type of thing. So if people are interested, by all means, they can shoot me an email.
All right. That was such a wonderful conversation. Melanie had so much, like, I literally will take notes on all of her voiceover tips.
I know. I feel like there were so many good takeaways in terms of how to prepare for auditions. That whole thing about the cork and then the green apple. And my God, like I didn't even know that you couldn't eat, don't eat fried foods.
Yeah, the green apple, and then I mean, and it all makes sense. Like once she said it, it's like, why didn't I think of that? I love it, and I would assume, like with the cork, I thought she was going to be like, oh well, you sing the scale every day or whatever, and it was way more practical than.
Yes, and I'm someone who also has like a very like tight jaw, so I respect that. Like it's good to like open that up. And it is vocal. Like you're using your voice. Like you do need to warm up your voice before you go into an audition or a taping session. I think that's really great. And knowing what to not drink, like coffee, which is hard for me.
Yeah, that's all you were hearing. Drink water, drink water. And I'm like, okay, but water's not working. Why do I still hear that clicking, that popping? Yes. And it's the green apple. I'm so excited to go out and get some green apples. And my latest tape, I just recorded like a bunch of voiceover auditions. And now I'm like, they're trash. They're trash. I need my green apple and some ginger chews and some eucalyptus. And I better do it all over again.
We got to start over. I also loved her, tips on going real big in auditions. Like she just goes for it. I loved that.
Which is like the opposite of what we learn as on camera.
Yes. And honestly, Ginny, I think that's why I love voice so much because there's such a freedom in it. And like, it just sounds, even as she's talking about it, it's like all about play. Like just play, explore your voice, like go big. Like I am so excited for the next animation audition because that's what I want, or a video game. I want to just go for it.
Yes, me too. Because I mean, I'm normally, coming from the theater world, right? We're always like, less, and now to be given, not only given the permission, but like requested, please go. It's huge. And I love that. I love that.
And then also it's amazing how she's branched off into so many different streams. And I think I realize now more and more in my own career, which is kind of what initially why I branched off into voice. It's like finding those different ways you can still be in the creative industry, but maybe different streams of revenue, like trying to find different ways of making money, but also doing something that you love. So her being an agent, a coach, the demo reel business that she's kind of started for herself. It's really impressive.
And finding that opportunity, right? When her agent, because like if, when my agents left, I would have never thought to be like, by the way, do you need some assistance, right? Like I would have never thought about that. I'd be like,
I love the way you would do it too. By the way.
And maybe that's why I don't do it. Feel like you're a priest.
I've been waiting for this moment.
It's like, it was no, but then it became a yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect example of like when a door is shut, like you never know when it's going to get opened again or another door opens. And sometimes just putting yourself out there so that, the opportunity can come potentially, your way.
Yeah. Like you're literally just planting a seed.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to sprout or if it's going to work or whatever, but at least it's planted. And then when the opportunity arises, you're like top of mind.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, she was great. I think this will be a really great episode for anyone who's trying to break into VO, who is trying to understand the industry a little bit better and how it works and what would set you apart in the, it just goes to show it's a busy market as well. It's, when she was talking about submitting 10 and all the agencies also submitting 10 people, that's 100 people for one role.
And actually something that came up for me is, probably the importance of having a special voiceover agent, like a dedicated voiceover agent versus having like a general agent. Because I mean, your agent who's also like, they're not going to watch every single audition you submit. They're not going to listen to every tape that you record. But Melanie, because she's dedicated to just that one thing, she's listening to every single tape and offering you feedback on it and adjustments to ensure that you're producing the best possible takes that you can. And I just don't think you would get that type of attention with a general agent.
No, and I think it's so great when an agent provides feedback like that, because she's very unique too, because she's also a coach. So if you're being represented by Melanie, you're in good hands because you're getting the coaching as well, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, she does that. Like, I don't know if even if they were just a dedicated, voiceover agent, whether or not they would do that.
Yeah. Not everyone has the time for that.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's also why she's like, I don't think we need any more people, but you never know, listener. If y'all are interested, yeah.
And I think the final tip I'm going to take away is hiding chocolate eggs in my fridge so that my kids could clean my fridge. I'm going to try that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still going to work. Maybe loonies. I feel
like loonies. Yeah, money. I think my kids will just eat the chocolate and walk away. But I'm going to try.
They'll have to find. You got to really toss them in there. Make them clean it all out.
I'm going to try, Ginny. I'm going to try.
All right. That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.